my name is Sue. I'm 18 years old. I'm currently a first year in university, actually.
I'm excited to look back at this video once you've hit the goal of 6 figures a month.
Sir, hopefully that happens.
I don't think I've hit the goals because I basically switched my business model.
Yeah,
I'm not running the agency anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I just got too comfortable.
You're 20 now and you hit 151K a month.
I kind of lost myself, if I'm being honest, because I was just so obsessed with wanting to do more and make more, and it was never enough. Was it worth what I sacrificed? Sometimes it's not.
Last time your record month was 151K. What was the new record month you recently hit?
224.
Let's fucking go. Proud of you, bro.
There's no amount of money that can ever make me feel as good as telling my parents how much money I made. I truly wish every single person could experience that feeling. I would have never imagined I'd be in the position I am today. 20 years old, making the money I make, taking care of my family, helping people out, clients that I work with. Like, this has been the wildest ride I could have ever imagined. And if you told the 16-year-old version of me that a 20-year-old version of him is doing all of this shit, he would not fucking believe you. Dream big and you can fucking achieve anything in this day and age, man, truly.
What's one thing that you've never shared online? Sue, how are we?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
Happy to have you back. We've literally had an interview at every stage of your journey. Last time your record month was 151K. And what was the new record month you recently hit?
224.
Let's fucking go. Proud of you, bro.
But it's probably gonna be 300 in like by Q1, so I want to do another one.
We'll have to run another one. What did it take to get to 224K a month at 20?
The first thing I'd say is that to get to 151K a month was amazing. You know, it was a very surreal moment for me because it was like I don't think we actually did it the right way. Like, it was actually like a lot of it was very volatile and a lot of things weren't in the right place for us to sustain that. So we actually dropped right back down to 60 the month after. And we were climbing back up at 100, and then eventually in June, that's when we sustained 100K a month pretty consistently. The thing that changed was that we actually built systems in order to actually build for scale. And so it wasn't actually like, okay, hitting a one-off record month. It wasn't actually a matter of like, okay, I'm gonna try and do this. Like, no. At this point, like, I don't know when's the last time we had a 5-figure month. Like, it's always been 6-figure months.
Wow.
And that's the way that I've intentionally built it. And so the team that we have, the fulfillment structures that we have, and everything that we have set up, that's allowing us to take it to a whole new level and actually sustain consistent 6-figure months, which I think has been the main difference. So as proud as I am of the $224,000 a month, the thing I'm even more proud of is the fact that I can sustain it. That's like the main thing that I didn't have in my last podcast. So yeah, like I'd say that's the biggest difference.
Wow, interesting. So in order to do well in business, it's great to have record months, but as you mentioned, longevity is key.
Yeah.
So what were the key differentiating factors that you implemented since our last talk to now never see a month below 6 figures?
Fulfillment. Fulfillment has been at an all-time high. So us being able to actually reinvest back into fulfillment, I actually paid a fulfillment coach over $15,000 to actually make the fulfillment process better, restructure the entire way we do it, make the back-end process better so we can actually increase LTV, increase the amount of payment plans that we collect, and ultimately just get better client results, which has led to us being able to charge more and actually go after higher paying clients. So as of late, the last 5 clients we've signed are all above 50K a month, which means that they're more willing to pay in full, they're more willing to buy the cross-sell services, and we're able to help them out more because they're more competent business owners and they actually take action on what we tell them. So the caliber of client we're attracting is much different. And part of the reason why is because we made fulfillment better so that we can actually get a 50K a month client and help them scale to 100K a month. It's funny you mentioned that. One of our clients that joined us like 2 months ago, not even 2 months ago, 45 days ago, he came to us at 45K a month. He just had 105. He just made 105K in 18 days.
What?
Yeah,
That's
in a
crazy.
45-day transformation period. So I'd say like a lot of people think it's the front end marketing. It's something I did in the content. Like, yes, content is important, but the main aspect that nobody else focuses on is the back end fulfillment and the back end, process to actually get these clients the results so that we have good word of mouth and we can increase our prices. Yeah.
Price is the biggest lever because you are able to reinvest, since you're charging super high ticket, into the best talent, the best fulfillment systems, and also acquisition at the end of the day. So just for context, since the birth of this offer, how much have you generated for the overall business?
Oof.
Because it's been just over a year and a half now,
Yeah,
right?
it has. I couldn't even tell you, but over 1.5 million.
Wow.
I can say that pretty confidently.
One thing that I've seen a lot of businesses suffer from is complacency. I've been a person that suffered from complacency throughout my career as well. So how have you been able to not allow complacency to kill your momentum? Because you just keep going and going and going.
That's actually an amazing question. So your motivations determine your drive, if that makes sense. Your motivations determine your like how hard you work in the times where you have everything. And so I like to say this, and I've heard this from my mentor. He passes down to me. You will see the real test of a man when he has everything he ever wants. And when he has everything he ever wants, will he keep on going forth and putting in the same amount of work that he put in when he had nothing? And if he's willing to do that, that means he has the right why. A lot of the times, business owners, they have a why, but it's not strong enough because they want to do it for the sole purpose of hitting this financial goal, buying this materialistic item, reaching a certain status. For me, it's not actually about that. For me, it's about the mission, the impact that I want to create in this industry, and understanding that if I don't do it, and if I, slack off and I take my foot off the gas, someone else is going to do that for me. I don't want that, and someone else may not even do that. And so it is my goal, because my mission is so big, because I want to have so much impact, that it doesn't slow me down. And so no matter if I hit these 6-figure months and I have everything that I ever wanted, my apartment, the watch, the relationships, everything that I ever wanted, that doesn't slow me down. And I think it's because my mission is so much bigger than money and materialistic items. I think when you have a bigger why compared to, the majority of entrepreneurs that start this in the first place, that's when you can actually go past the financial goals and actually keep on going. And that's been my biggest superpower, the ability to just work. Like today, I spent literally 4 hours. I spent literally the whole day in my room, just locked in my room, no distractions, and just consuming a 4-hour webinar from Hormozy that I paid over $24,000 for. Not a lot of people at my stage would do that because they've already gotten everything they've wanted, and so they lose that drive. But my drive is to keep on pushing this industry forward, is to keep on having a better product for my clients, is to make $1 million a month. That's my drive. And when you have that drive that's, beyond a materialistic thing, that's when you can really change industries and move people.
I love that. So much respect. And it makes a lot of sense why you're seeing the success you've seen at such a young age. And let's not forget the fact that you're still at university. So before I go on and ask you, how do you even balance all of this? What is your mission and what is your why?
My mission is to change the entire education system, like generally change the entire education system. I think there's a very, very big gap in the education space right now where it's either you go to college or you drop out and you're a failure in your parents' eyes, right? And there's no middle ground. It's either you drop out and you take a huge leap of faith, you take a huge risk, you go against what everyone is telling you to do, or you stay in university and you get in tons of debt and you learn, skills that are not really practical, and you get a degree that may not even guarantee you a job in this day and age. My goal with everything that I'm doing is I want to create that middle ground where I create a university where we teach real world skills like sales, like content, and actually skills that people can monetize off of without actually finding jobs. There is no person that's doing that. And I feel like with everything that I'm doing, I'm leading up to the point where I can eventually create an in-person school, an in-person university where I teach these practical skills. And we do give a degree, but that degree does not state that you should go get a job. That degree states that, hey, you have the qualifications to do X, Y, Z. And I think that's my gap and that's my mission. I want to actually create a school for people like us because there is nothing like that built out. It's a perfect example. When I made my first 150K, my initial impression was like, why should I go to school? And the reason why I'm still staying in school is because, obviously I had a year left. But the reason why I still went to school is because I did not want to disappoint my parents. No amount of money could have covered up me dropping out, because in my family's eyes and in my parents' eyes, especially my mom's eyes, the biggest thing that I could ever do for her was graduate university. It wasn't actually about the money I made. And I realized, like, hey, if I can balance both, amazing. Like, why not? And that's what I'm doing right now. But what if there was a alternative to where I went to an actual practical real world school where I learned real world skills that can actually transfer over to my business instead of getting a useless degree that I'm not even going to use to apply for jobs. You know what I mean? So I think that's the mission. And
right now, this moment in time, a lot of people that you've been able to help are buying cars, they're buying insane penthouses and being able to travel every single month. But with you, obviously you have school. I'm curious, how are you able to not fall into the trap of, well, it's not really a bad thing, but you know, the more luxurious and materialistic things like a nice Lambo or something like that?
Yeah.
Has that ever crossed your mind?
Of course it has. I'm a guy at the end of the day. I love cars and stuff. I think it's amazing, first of all. Like, I think every person that works hard for their money, they can spend it however they want, whether it's buying the cars, living in nice apartments, living in penthouses, do whatever you want with the money. It's the money that you earn. It's how you spend it. That's completely up to you. I have no right to say it. But for me personally, I have a lot of things to take care of before I even take care of myself. I'm personally paying rent in London, which is not cheap. For me and my brother, I'm paying my own university fees, which is not cheap as well. I'm helping my parents out wherever I can. There's a lot of things that I'm doing that I'm putting in front of my wants before I go out and make a big purchase like buying a car. And for me, I've always been a very, very family-oriented guy. I want to take care of the people around me and buy them the nice stuff before I buy something else for myself, because they're the ones that put me in the position that I am in today. So as much as I'd love to buy a fucking car, as much as I'd love to buy another $60,000 watch, I'm going to hold off on that because there's a lot more important things that need to be handled and taken care of. And those things require a lot of capital, a lot of money, and I'm going to put towards that. And also, it's just I'm in it for the long term. So a lot of the investments that I'm doing are going back in the business. In the past, like 3 months, I probably spent around $70,000 on courses, mentorships, and programs.
Wow.
Told nobody, but that's what's going to give me that edge. And while everyone is buying the materialistic items, like, I'm literally just stacking cash, investing in the stocks, investing into back in my business to be able to grow more. And that's why I'm going to grow the fastest I'm ever going to grow. Like, that's why the industry has never seen someone grow this fast, because of the amount of growth I put back into the business. I'm in it for the long term, and I know that if I can resist the urge to want to splurge on a materialistic item, I can reinvest back in the business for more growth, or reinvest back for my family and take care of them, or, just in funds, that'll grow and I can buy the Lambo with, passive funds that I grow over time. And that's going to be a smart decision in a 2-3 year time span.
Love that.
So
That's really
I'm
good.
thinking very long term.
Yeah. It's really good to have that long-term thinking. And before I ask you the thought process and how you develop that, one thing you mentioned is supporting the family. And since we last spoke, you've gone very viral on Instagram. And some of the clips were telling your parents how much money you made. So how does it feel being able to tell your mother and your father the amount of money you make now in comparison to the version of you where they were telling you to just focus on studies alone?
I love this question. And I think I'll say this till the day I die. There's no amount of money that can ever make me feel as good as telling my parents how much money I made. No amount of money. No personal achievement, no business goal, no purchase. Like, nothing can beat that moment where I told them that I made over 150K in a month. And the reason why is because growing up, I've always sought validation from my parents. And it's been this never-ending tug of war of trying to do something to impress them, and for them to never give me a reaction, for them to never give me that validation that I wanted, and for me to keep on chasing that. And I think at a certain point, I realized, like, hey, I'm probably never going to get this. And it wasn't until I changed, or, it wasn't until I ran the business and I made that ridiculous amount of money that allowed me to get that validation. And I truly wish every single person could experience that feeling. For me, that's a feeling that I was chasing for like 19 years of my life, man.
Wow.
And some people never get it. I had the blessing to get it when I was 19. And it wasn't actually the money that made me happy. It was just my parents' approval that I'm doing good and that they're happy for me. They're proud of me. And I can take care of, my brother. I can take care of the people around me. I can not worry about finances. I'm covering the rent when we live here in London. It's one less thing for them to worry about. And that's what makes me, that's what keeps me going.
Our parents have made sacrifices so that we can live our lives, take risks, and do things that they couldn't have done.
Exactly.
Right? So we shouldn't be taking that for granted. So would you say you came from a family upbringing where money was something that was scarce, or was it something that everything was comfortable? What would you say?
Yeah, I love this question. So my parents had money. I came from a pretty decent background, but they treated me like I was broke. Like I felt like I was broke, and they had a very good. They raised me very well in a sense where I didn't feel like I had money. I knew they had money, but I didn't feel like I had money, and that was the way they raised me. I never sat in business class. I always sat in economy. I remember I told this story once. Like there was one time where my parents were sitting in business class, and I asked myself like, and it was me, and my brother. I'm the middle child. It was me, my older brother, and my younger brother, and we were in economy while my dad and my mom were in business class. And I asked myself like, hey, why are we here? And it was that moment that made me realize like, hey, I didn't have money. My parents had money. And that's when I really found a way to like, okay, like how can I get money like them? And so they exposed me to it, but they didn't spoil me with it. And that's what really sparked that drive in me to make me really want to actually make money at a young age. I started when I was 16, you know.
Wow.
I started when I was 16, and that desire and the way that they raised me was what actually got me to start at a very young age and actually keep on doing it and keep on striving for more.
I really respect that. And I'm sure a lot of people watching this also respect that, because if you come from a wealthy family, you either get given a lot of things
Yeah.
that may end up making you spoiled.
Mhm.
They may end up in you doing things like doing drugs
Yeah.
or blowing it all at the club all the time. And
Yeah.
the fact that you have come from a wealthy family, you have made your own wealth right now, you become a millionaire at such a young age, and you still are humble. What do you think is the characteristic that you have that keeps you at bay?
I think everyone has gifts, everyone has talents. And just because I make money, just because I'm, quote unquote, more successful, does not mean that I can put anyone down. I believe in, everyone has gifts, and I'm just lucky enough to have a gift that allows me to actually have materialistic success and have financial success, right? There's people as talented as me doing art. Fortunately for them, if you're not like a top 1% artist, like you're cooked, So I think the thing that keeps me grounded is understanding that everyone has talents and there's no reason to actually put people down because nothing good comes out of that. And the more people you can bring up, the more people you can inspire, the more people you can help. Why not? Like real fulfillment, real happiness comes from bringing people up with you, not being the only one at the top. I think that's like the main thing. And that's why I tell all my team, like, hey, I was literally on a FaceTime call with some of my team members today. And I was telling them, like, hey, I need you to I literally need you to experience this. I need you to experience this view. I need you to experience what it's like waking up and seeing all of this, because that's what makes life life. That's what makes everything different. And that's what makes life extremely enjoyable. So that's the main thing,
I really respect the fact that you're still able to remain humble and be someone that is truly your true authentic self. And a lot of people change when they get money. They fall into hedonism. They quote unquote cut off their day ones, right? How are your day ones from school?
I fucking love my day ones.
Hey.
Like, I think well, first of all, I'm still extremely close with them. I talk to them like basically every week. We FaceTime every now and then. And so I love those guys. Those guys made fun of me when I was first starting out, but I'll always love them. They're the true people that I can hang out with, and I know that they have nothing to benefit from me, and they like me for who I am, not because of what I've achieved. And I think that's the main thing. I think every entrepreneur and every business owner needs to have two types of friends. They need to have a friend group that is obviously in business, constantly pushing them for more, constantly getting them to think bigger. And then they need to have a second friend group that's completely out of business, that doesn't even care about the financial and business achievements that you have, and just likes you as a person because of who you are, not what you do. And I think that keeps you level-headed, that keeps you grounded, that keeps you humble, and it allows you to actually, experience life for what it is, because it's not all about the money. It's never about the money. It's more about what you do with the money, who you are with the money. That's the most important thing. And that friend group of people that just don't give a shit about what you do and how successful you are keeps you level-headed and keeps you grounded, and allows you to remain humble in times where everyone is talking good about you.
Couldn't have put it better, and it's good to see that you didn't cut them off. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Have you tried to put them onto the online space, like
I
your
try to put
brother and your
everyone-
friends?
I try to put everyone on.
Yeah.
But I feel like people only want to be put on in their own timing, and you can lead a horse to the well, but You can't force her to drink water, you know? So I try to put on everyone I can. I put on a few people. Matt Chuan, shout out Matt. He's a friend
Shout
that I
out
met
Matt.
in university, my best friend now. And he started like, I think like basically a year ago, and he's making 5 figures a month. So
Wow, he's killing it.
good for him, you know? Happy for
amazing.
him.
That's really good.
Yeah.
It's good to see that you want to help people elevate with you
Yeah,
and
yeah.
give them the option and not actually force it.
Mhm.
So, since we've talked about your family, you've talked about your friends, I'm curious, what about relationships? What's it like dating as a 20-year-old millionaire?
Dating's always tricky because obviously, you know, my everything I do is kind of out there. Everything I do is just like in your face. I talk about how much I make publicly, which I prefer not to do, but it's marketing and you kind of have to do what you got to do, which is also why I have two personal accounts. I have two Instagram accounts. I have a personal account, which I give to everybody, and I have a business account, which only my business friends know of. I don't like people knowing my business stuff because they treat me differently and they have something to gain from me usually, especially in the dating scene. If someone finds out that I don't have a business, suddenly they're super interested in hanging out. They want to grab lunch. They want to do this. They want to do that. And it's like, it's becomes super like give and take. But the moment people don't know that I have a business, that's when, you know, I can really find out who actually likes me for me. And so when it comes to dating, the good thing about me is that I'm very, very good at reading people. Very, very good. I mean, you can ask Aiden. Like that's probably my biggest strong point when it comes to business. I really know how to put people in the right places. I know how to see people's strengths. I know how to see people's weaknesses, and I'm very good at reading people. That includes girls. So if it's a girl that likes me for my money, I can usually tell within the first 1 or 2 hours.
Do you feel like being in a relationship as an entrepreneur has allowed you to be more focused, or would you say that there's not much of a difference?
Oh, 100%. A lot of people say that they'll find their wife or they'll find their girlfriend when they've made it in business or they've done XYZ and they've achieved their goal. But it's like, if you find a woman that really fits the way that you want to scale and the way that you want to build your life, then it actually adds to it because she can take away things that you'd have to do yourself and allow you to actually focus on your mission if she understands what you're trying to build and what you're trying to do.
When it comes to the way in which you think, you're very long-term thinking, and overall, if I had to describe you in a few words, like young, humble, billionaire.
Soon.
But yeah, soon. But like very, very humble and long-term thinking,
Yeah.
right? So how can you advise the people watching here right now to think more long-term and make the right decisions? Because as you mentioned, so many entrepreneurs, they can make so much money in a short space of time. I've done this myself, and then I've lost it,
Yeah.
right? So how do you make sure that you can play the game of longevity and play the game of decades instead of months?
Of course. So the first thing you have to understand is that the person that plays the long-term game will always win. Always. And I say this because I'm proof that it works. You know, when I was 16, I didn't ask myself, what could I do right now to make the most money next month? I asked myself, what can I do right now that will make me the most money in 5 years? And so the answer was learning sales, learning content, learning the ins and outs, being in the weeds, doing it done for you. I did all that. Now I've been able to reap the rewards. But I've done things that nobody else is willing to do in order to get the results that nobody else has, right? So I started thinking instead of months, I started thinking instead of years. No one else is willing to do that, and no one else is willing to sacrifice their short-term goals for their long-term goals. And if I want to do that, I'll have a result that nobody else has. It's a lot of self-control. It's a lot of, the ability to resist temptation, which what I do to be able to practice that is meditation, journaling, self-awareness. I know what I'm thinking in every aspect of it, in every time of the day. I know exactly what I'm thinking. And that allows me to be super hypercritical of what I'm doing and whether or not I'm doing the right things to push the needle forward and move the business forward.
How do you isolate the things that you know are going to push the business forward? Because a lot of people say they work hard, they work 12-hour days, but it doesn't really move the needle forward.
Yeah, so it's about choosing what you work on, right? Everyone has the same 12 hours in a day. My 12 hours in a day will probably make me X amount, let's say 30K, right? Someone else's 12 hours in a day, same 12 hours, makes him 2K. Okay, well, why did I 15x his output with the same amount of input? The reason why is because I picked and choose what inputs I worked on. I chose the ones that I had leveraged. I was extremely intentional about the things that I did, and I outsourced everything else. And so it's not actually about doing more, it's about doing less, but doing the less things way more. It's doing less things better, more quality, more volume, and all of these things. And that's how you scale. And so you have to look at the way that you figure out what that thing is you work on. You ask yourself, if I worked on this, like what is the one thing I can work on in the business to 10x my result? And usually it's content, right? Usually it's content. And the opportunity cost of you not doing content is that you have to hard close leads, you have to, beg for clients, you have to spam CTAs, you have to be needy on your stories and all these things. That's the opportunity cost. So I know that the number one thing I can focus on right now is content, which is what we're doing. As I'm filming this podcast with you, reels are being pumped out right now. My appointment setters booking calls, my closers closing deals. I'm able to just build systems and build people and put people in the right places so that I can get more output for less input while I focus on my zone of genius.
How does your working week look like? Because in order to be someone that is in your position, has to balance uni, has a personal life as a 20-year-old, and also running $1 million business.
Yeah.
What does the working week look like?
It's messy. I have lectures probably 2 days a week. So I go to university, I do my thing. I take calls Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays are the days where I do a lot of deep work. So I separate my workflows out in terms of what I want to do. On Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I just strictly take calls. I take them back to back to back. I stack my calendar of client calls, check-ins, team calls, everything that I need to get done. I'm out of a sales process, so that saves a lot of time. On Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, what I'm doing is I'm actually just working on the business, filming content, and doing things that will move the needle forward that only I can do, and learning more information to stay ahead of the industry and stay ahead of the curve so I can actually dictate where my industry goes. That's what I'm doing right now, and I squeeze in uni work whenever I can. I actually have a assistant that's helping me with a bit of university work, so I find leverage in everything.
Hey, you're a true leverage creator, bro.
I find systems everywhere.
Yes, sir. Where do you see info going in 2026?
Well, I think the people that are actually good at what they do will outlast the people that are, terrible. And you guys have seen it. Like the people that have bad fulfillment are usually the ones that have to try something else. They have to go in a different vehicle, whatever the situation may be. And that's because they didn't build the foundation the right way. They got caught up with the marketing and all that. And the fulfillment took the back seat, which is why now their business takes the back seat. So the people that have really good fulfillment will end up shining more, and people will start to see more. People will start to value proof more, which is why client interviews, testimonials, case studies, that is more important now than ever. Actually showing people the result that you can generate instead of claiming that you can generate this result. Proof in this day and age is the number one marketing resource that you can use in order to sell a product. No longer is it tied to your claims and how good you are on camera. Like that helps, right? But the proof and the real results that you generate for your clients is what's going to push everyone to push the people that don't have good fulfillment out of business and really make the people that do have good fulfillment rise to the top. So that's going to be the main difference. I think we're going to see a lot of changes, and a lot of people emphasize fulfillment more because now it's not just claims and marketing and the lifestyle. People are going to look past that, and people are going to look at the results you can generate and the clients that you work with.
100%.
Yeah.
When you have undeniable proof in what it is that you do and you're a master at your craft, that's where the value is exchanged. And as a value exchange, you get compensated through getting paid a lot. Now, I'm curious, why do you feel like a lot of the people that may have been in business, let's say 2-3 years ago, that you used to look up to at the beginning of your journey, are no longer in the game right now?
Well, I think it's because they didn't focus on the long term. I think they didn't focus on the long term. They didn't actually build things that will actually protect their competitive advantage. So when you make a lot of money, you have a competitive advantage that the industry does not have. And you need to find ways to constantly elevate that competitive advantage so that you stay different and you constantly reiterate and you push the needle forward and you push the industry forward. That's how you sustain that industry leader status, and that's how you sustain those 6-figure months. And I think a lot of people get caught up in lifestyle inflation, and a lot of people get caught up in wanting the status. And that's usually what happens is that's what ends up screwing people over. And I think people have realized that, and that's why fulfillment is the most important thing it's ever been now. There's going to be a day and age where fulfillment is the number one priority over marketing and sales, and I can't wait for that day to come. That's been the ethos of my business and how I've been able to run my business to where it's at, not doing the marketing first. And it's only a matter of time until people wake up to realize how important fulfillment is and results and clients are before, it's too late. So I think it's just learning mistakes, and people that do end up going down that path. The thing is, it's a hard lesson it's a hard pill to swallow, but they've done it already. You know, they can do it again, and so I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just that they weren't as intentional as they should have been. You know.
So fulfillment is a key part of your business and an element that you double down on, because the best marketing is a good product.
Exactly.
So could you walk us through what it's like to be a client, all the way from, okay, they've just been onboarded,
Yeah.
they're a coach and consultant that are already at 6 figures,
Yeah.
looking to get to 7 figures.
Yeah.
Walk us through A to Z, what it's like to be a client.
Yeah, so you get onboarded. It's going to be a sales call with my guy, George. He's my right-hand man. And he basically runs you through exactly the product and everything. And then immediately he books you on a welcome call with Kim. Kim is my main CSM. She is the person responsible of actually keeping you accountable and holding you accountable. She's worked with multiple 7-figure-a-month operations, so she understands the ins and outs of info. She's not just a random person that I hired. Extremely qualified, overqualified for this position. She's going to run you through how the program works, answer any questions you have, give you clarity on what to work on, and then she's going to book you directly on with George. Again, George is also our appointment setting coach. So our closer is actually part of the fulfillment as well, because we don't want to close someone that we don't know we can help. That's the key point, right? So he's going to help actually go through your appointment setting process, break it down live for you, give you feedback. And then George is going to book you on with Aiden, who gives you a brand audit call and teaches you exactly what to change in your content in order to get the first quick wins in order to scale your personal brand to the next level. These 3 calls all happen in a span of 72 hours. You get 3 one-on-ones in 72 hours to make sure that you get reconfirmation that, hey, our product is actually amazing. And then we change your appointment setting, we change your content, we change the way you look at your business. And after you do that, in a 1-week time span, you'll have a call with me. After you implement the appointment setting strategies that George went over and the content strategies that Aiden went over, you're on a call with me. I'm highlighting your actual business flaws, what to work on, giving you actionable items to work on, and you're going through our private video module library that only our clients have access to. And you join the group calls. We introduce you to the entire community so you can get assimilated to everyone else. And we introduce you to people that are above you and below you so you can connect with people that are ahead of you to learn from them, and also coach someone below you so that, vice versa, they can learn from you. We do that in a very, very, methodical process. We have SOPs and systems built out. And in a 6-month time span, there's no reason why you can't hit a record month if you do everything we say. And we have the proof to back it up. So, yeah.
Wow.
That's the onboarding alone. I have an entire roadmap that people follow in order to get the results, and we take this extremely seriously. I don't think anyone takes it as serious as us, and even the guy you referred, Ash, that guy, absolutely loving the program so far, and that's why guys like Alessio and Brian, they joined 45 days in. They go from 45K a month to 105K in 18 days. Like, transformations like that don't happen accidentally. It's all intentional and all by design.
All by design, all through systems and processes. And you beat me to it. I was about to say, I've seen your fulfillment. I've experienced it as well. And by far, it is probably the best in the industry right now, because you have an expert at each stage of the process instead of you onboarding and doing every single thing.
Exactly.
Right? So I'm curious to ask what happened in terms of the evolution from the team you had when we were last together, and what it looks like now, and how you're going to sustain 6-figure months and inevitably hit 7 figures a month.
Yeah, so a lot of the team members that were with me at 115K a month are not with me anymore. And part of the reason why is because I realized that for me to scale this business to $1 million a month, the entire focus and the entire attention of my team members has to be on this business and scaling this up to $1 million a month. It can't be on side projects. It can't be on specific things. It has to be on the business, because when the business makes more money, everyone on the team makes more money, right? And so I've realized, like, hey, if people want to launch their own thing, it's not a long-term fit. It may be a short-term solution, but in the long term, in the grand scheme of things and what I'm trying to build, it won't work. And so I've moved people out of certain places in order to bring people in-house to work on the business full time so that we can push this business, because I'm not trying to only make 200, 300K a month. I think it's nice, right? I'm trying to scale it to $1 million a month and build the biggest business that I could ever imagine and push the industry forward. I want to make money that info has never seen before in the B2B space while being respected and having good fulfillment and not rugging people. That's a big one, right? How do I make money in an industry where reputation always takes a hit when you scale past a certain amount? I want to maintain a reputation and show people that you can make this amount of money while having an amazing product and amazing fulfillment.
That's great. Yeah, one thing I believe in order to build a really big enterprise, you need intrapreneurs, not entrepreneurs in your business. And those people that are willing to make sacrifices, like you mentioned, in order for the bigger collective vision, that's what's going to take you to those goals. So how can you give some advice to the people watching this right now that are trying to build their A team? Because it's not easy building a team, and naturally people are going to churn. So what advice would you have there?
Well, the first thing is ask yourself, if you're trying to scale to 100K a month or $1 million a month or wherever you're trying to scale to, do you see this person in that business at that point? If it's no, then don't hire them or fire them, slowly push them out of your business. And if it's yes, then keep them, find a way to incentivize them, and find a way to attach their goals and find a way for them to achieve their goals through your business and use your business as a vehicle. It's very, very important that you prioritize your team members' goals over your goals, because when you do that, they'll do the same thing for you. And in turn, everyone will benefit from that. So a lot of times business owners are extremely selfish. They're always asking themselves, hey, how can I make $1 million a month? It's always about I. I never say I in a business. It's our business. It's we. I never say I. It's never say my. Nothing is mine. It's ours. And I think when people understand that vision that I have, they really get bought in, and people understand how much I'm willing to sacrifice in order to help my team achieve their goals, they also want to do the same for me. So it's a two-way street where we'll both run through walls for each other. We'll both help each other achieve our goals. And that's the main thing that will help you build a A-player team that can sustain 6-figure months and eventually 7-figure months.
I love that. So how do you maintain and build that culture? Because every team member that I've met, they're all locked in, they're all dialed, and it's like they have their own autonomy because they know what they need to do, and they'll go above and beyond and think of ideas to push the business forward instead of waiting for you to tell them what to do. So how do you build that strong company culture?
Well, you have to lead by example, right? If your team sees that you're working and that you're pushing the needle forward and everything is going well, obviously they're going to follow by example. And you also you tolerate it. If you tolerate mediocrity and you don't punish that, they're going to fall to mediocrity. And so I like to say this, your business is defined by the least competent team member in your business. If that team member is not doing what he needs to do and he's still on the team, you are tolerating that, and you are telling everyone else on the team that that behavior is acceptable. The moment that behavior happens, that person either fixes it or he's gone within 3 days, even a day, if he doesn't want to fix it, right? And so your business becomes what you tolerate. And if you have a high expectation and you let people know in your team, they'll know that the expectation is here, not here, and they'll always meet it. And the moment they don't meet it, they know that they're going to be off a team. And that's just how it has to be. It's a high-performing team. It's a competitive environment. We're trying to build to $1 million a month. It's not going to be easy, and that's the whole point, you know?
Dialed. I love that. So let's talk about the results that you've gotten for the clients that you mentioned. You've mentioned a few case studies. What are some of the most notable case studies recently that a lot of people can take a lot of, advice from and inspiration?
Yeah, my favorite is Andrew. Andrew Shin. Joined me in, I believe, February or March, around that time. 10K a month, 12K a month. Oh my gosh, that guy threw like 20 sales objections at me. And 20 sales objections at me. He was so scared. First time investing any type of money into his business. I told him that he had all the things to scale up to the next level, and he did. And he paid me the 9.5 at the time. The day after, he asked for a refund. And I'm like, Andrew, like, what are you doing? Like, you haven't even tried it. You haven't even given it a shot. And what ended up happening was his friend convinced him to actually ask for a refund so that, he could go to his friend for help. And it was this really quick situation. We went back and forth. I told him, have it 2 or 3 days to think about it. Let me know. And I gave him a guarantee. If you don't make X amount, I think I told him, like, if you don't make 50K a month in the next 30 days, I'll give you a full refund. Something crazy like that. And he said, Sui, I trust you. Let's run it up. In a 5-6 month time span, he went from 12K a month to $151,000 a month cash collected. He bought his Lamborghini Urus.
Wow.
And yeah, that's probably one of my favorite case studies, honestly. Killer testimonial. We also got Alec. He went from rock bottom 0 to 137K a month cash collected as well with a TikTok shop coaching offer in a span of like 3 months. So we went from 0 to 80K. Oh no, 0 to 5 to 80K to 137. So 4 months, sorry.
Whoa.
Crazy transformation. Blew up on organic. We told him to, do something authentic to show you more of your personality. He was exposed around killers in Dubai that were doing more than him, and he was like, why can't I do it? Did exactly what I told him to do. Implemented absolute killer. 137K a month consulting business with a TikTok shop. Josh Chang, obviously $500 a month to 102K a month. Scaling fitness coaches, bought his Porsche 911. I didn't recommend it at the time, but hey, he bought it. He bought the G-Wagon now as well. So my clients are balling out of control.
For real.
I got to catch up.
Yeah.
I got to catch up.
You've been putting so many other people on, and you haven't bought a car yet, which I respect. So I'm curious, how much do you think you've generated your clients the past year and a half? You've generated a fucking lot of money for them.
Like a lot of money. I think collectively, I don't know about the year and a half, but in my 5-year time span of helping clients and generating revenue, I've helped people generate over $10 million. Me and my clients, easily over $10 million.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it's pretty cool.
So if you had to boil it down to 3 pillars, what are those 3 pillars that help generate 7-8 figures?
Well, first of all, fulfillment is number one. If you don't have a good product, you are making life extremely hard for yourself. You are basically shooting yourself in the foot, and you're coping with a lack of fulfillment with overcompensating on the marketing side of everything. So fulfillment is the number one priority. Create the best product, and naturally your conviction will come into marketing, which is the second point. Organic marketing is the best vehicle to scale your consulting business and any business in 2026 because of the high margins, the low cost, and the fact that if you do it every single day and you do what no one else is willing to do, and you practice and you're intentional about the way that you speak, you are going to separate yourself in your entire industry. And especially when you do run ads, you have an even more competitive advantage. So your content marketing and your brand is the second most important thing. And the third one is just being relentless, working every single day and having a bigger mission than just wanting to make money online, having a mission that you want to change an industry, having a mission that you want to reform an education system, having some type of mission that's bigger than you and bigger than a financial goal will allow you to keep on going in times where you have everything you ever wanted, and it will allow you to keep on pushing as if you have nothing even though you have everything. Those are the 3 things.
Wow. That's crazy. Not scripted, guys. All from the head. That was really good. Yeah. Without giving away too many secrets and details, someone watching this right now, they want to add an extra 30 to 50K to their online coaching consulting business. What would you tell them to focus on?
Your marketing is probably, if you want fast cash, marketing is probably the easiest way to get there. Find out why people choose you. So have an onboarding form that actually reverse engineers what piece of content actually made them buy with you, made them transact with you. Why did they choose you over the hundreds of other coaches out there? And how can you create new content formats that show more of that specific thing? The moment that you can do that, that's when you have your competitive edge, and you keep on building on top of that. We had a guy join, I think like 2 weeks ago, went through a 6-month drought of 0 sales. He was told by his previous mentor to post every day, spam CTAs, and just do a ton of work. And I told him, stop doing that. Be intentional with your content. 20K in 2 days. Crazy, So it really just comes down to being intentional and having the right systems and having the right strategy and doing the right work. It's never about the hard work. It's about the smart work. That's my biggest piece of advice. And, be relentless with the sales process, outreach, do appointment setting, get good at content and appointment setting. And I promise you, you will never go broke, and you can easily scale to 100K a month by learning these 2 skills alone.
Wow. You heard it here, guys. So how has your personal brand helped your business scale to millions?
Oh, it's been huge. All my money comes from the personal brand. Everyone says ads. Fuck ads. I think ads is great when you're trying to scale to $1 million a month. But if you're trying to scale to 6 figures a month, don't even touch ads, because you're building the foundation, and the foundation has to be built on a strong base. The strongest base you can ever build is a organic brand that has a powerful message and a strong reason why you're different from everybody else. And then when you do run ads to that, you are just going to dominate the industry, and you're going to do so much better than the people that ran ads with no personal brand. There's so many nightmare stories I'm sure you've heard of people that just run cold traffic, and within a 2-3 month time span, yes, they make short money, but it's not long term. Organic content and having a personal brand is the longevity of every online business in 2026.
So let's reverse engineer your personal brand. What would you say the 3 things that helped you build that personal brand that stands out from other people and allowed you to generate 6 figures a month?
Well, I think a lot of it just comes down to understanding, like, okay, why does someone actually choose me? Like, there are hundreds of other people that are selling the exact same product and selling the exact same transformation that I'm selling. Why did this person choose me? And the moment I reverse engineered that, the moment I found content formats, and at the moment that I saw success with certain content formats, I doubled down on that. So being extremely intentional with the testing process, and then the moment that you find a winner, doubling down on that and putting all your eggs in that basket and milking it until there's no more views that you can milk. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in that, because you could have the best product, the best service in the world, but if you aren't letting the whole world know, then you're not going to scale. And
Exactly.
you should always have the mentality that no one fucking knows you, so I need to market every single day.
Exactly.
So I really like that, and I need to implement it for myself, which is why 2026 is going to be that year. So final business question I have is networking.
Yeah.
How has networking played an impact in your journey, and is it something that people should focus on?
Well, I think it depends on what part of the business, what part of the journey you're on. I think at the beginning, a lot of us struggle with limiting beliefs. So I think it's very, very important to meet people that are doing what you want to do, to show yourself that, hey, like, I can actually do this. It's not just this guy's special or whatever. Like, he's normal, same as me. He just has this thing that's better. Why don't I get better at that thing, right? So networking is amazing in the fact that it removes a lot of limiting beliefs and it shows you what's really possible and it opens your perspective. I'm actively trying to network now with guys that are doing $1 million a month to be able to make myself feel like a small fish and go for that next level, because the moment that my network is only guys that are doing 5 figures, not to say that's bad, but it doesn't allow me to think bigger because now I'm the biggest fish in the room. So it's always important to have that perspective shift and have people pushing you to think bigger. So network has been huge for me. And part of the reason why I'm here where I'm at is because you introduced me to the London Circle, where everyone is just light years ahead of me. And that really pushed me to move forward and just run it up. So props to you, man.
I appreciate you, bro.
Of course, man.
And the only reason why you're seeing the success you're seeing now is because you've networked, but you've actually put in the action and you've utilized the right people. And one thing I always tell people is networking is great if you are already a person of value, someone that can provide value to other people, and it isn't your sole focus, because it can be a form of procrastination. So I'm really happy to see that you've been able to expand and build your own network. And a lot of feedback from the clients that you have that I personally know, they say the community itself and the trips that you go on and the retreats are a big part and a big element of their success. So just to kind of wrap things up, what retreats have you been on the past year, and what's 2026 got lined up?
Yeah, so it's been a very, very good 2025. We went to Dubai in March. We went to Bali in September. And then we hosted our London Mastermind end of year. And then 2026 is going to be a movie. We're going to Switzerland in February. So start of February. And we're going to either go to St. Moritz for snowboarding. So it's going to be really cool.
Wow.
And the plan is to go to Dubai as well again for another mastermind. I'm going to co-host it with Daniel Dalen.
Whoa.
Really, really fucking cool.
Damn.
Not co-host, but I'm going to help him host it and help him, organize the whole thing. And so that's going to be really cool. Yeah, who knows where we'll go, man. It'll be a surprise.
Damn. I'm excited to see that. I didn't even know you were potentially doing that event with Daniel Dalen.
gonna
And
be
speaking of, that was one of the big highlights this year, right? How was it meeting him? Because he is so well respected by the top people in the industry.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, he's someone that, I take a lot of inspiration from in terms of content, in terms of the way that he built his brand, the way he positions himself, and the way that he really carries himself. So to have him in my corner and to be able to talk to him whenever I want to and seek advice from him whenever I want to has been a blessing. And it's just really helped me a lot along the journey.
Oh, so like he mentors you?
Yeah, I can call him whenever. That's what he told me. So
Wow.
it's cool.
So how much have you invested into that?
It's not really an investment. So I invested into his mastermind. And that's how I made the connection. And then we've just been talking ever since. So it's not like I paid him for mentoring. It's just like he does it out of love.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That just goes to show that like this game of entrepreneurship, it's not just a game of being selfish. It's about being selfless in the long run. But in the short term, you do need to be selfish and look out for yourself so that you can help more people out. So last podcast, I asked you, what's one thing that you've never shared online?
Yeah.
And I want to ask the same thing. What's one thing that you've never shared online that's happened in the last 6 to 7 months?
I would have never imagined I'd be in the position I am today. 20 years old, making the money I make, taking care of my family, helping people out, impacting the lives that I, the clients that I work with. Like, this has been the wildest ride I could have ever imagined. And if you told the 16-year-old version of me that the 20-year-old version of him is doing all of this shit, he would not fucking believe you. And I think the one thing I want to leave you off with is, if you put in the work and you genuinely show up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, I promise you, you will achieve things that you never thought you could ever achieve in your entire life. These are things that I thought I could achieve at 50.
Wow.
I'm achieving them at 20. Like, it doesn't make it make sense, like, it doesn't add up, and it's so unreasonable for me to be in this position. But I never listened to anyone that doubted my dreams and my goals. I always stuck true to myself. I always believed in the process, even when nobody else saw it. People talk about how cool it is now and how smart I am, but nobody said that when I was starting out and I was only making $35K a month, where I made nothing. I ate shit for 2 years. Nothing, no cash. And all of that persistence and all that perseverance was worth it now. So that's the one thing I'd say. Dream big, and you can fucking achieve anything in this day and age, man, truly.
You're a true leverage creator, bro, and I'm really proud and to be a part and see your journey as well, because as I mentioned earlier on, you are still the same humble guy from when I first met you, when we went on a little sushi date after I took you to the office in central London.
Yeah.
And from that day, I was like, yeah, this guy's gonna go far. And yeah, bro, you're doing amazing things, and excited for the next episode that we do. And one final message that you wanted to share, it could be about future plans or whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, keep working. I shouldn't be in the position I'm in. I was just a kid from Malaysia with a big dream, and I wanted to make it happen, and I made it happen. It wasn't a matter of like, oh, I got a handout. Like, I had nothing given to me. I just worked my ass off. I made the right connections. Luckily the universe gave me a lot of good people to meet, and they introduced me to the right people. I got the right opportunities, and I executed. So if you're a younger person and you're looking at this video and you're like, so here's the exact life that I want, I was once in your position looking at someone else that had the life that I wanted, and the only thing that separated me from them was the work that I put in. So yeah,
you deserve it, bro. So guys, make sure you check out Sue on Instagram and YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go subscribe, like, follow me on Instagram. And as always, stay hydrated, stay motivated, stay blessed, and stay leveraged. Deuces. Thank you for coming on, Sue.
of course, bro.
Let's go.